See my life has been in motion. I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back, got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it.
So dope, my eyes low. When you move like God, the time slow. I came back for the blacks and John Doe's. Crack open them land patents, let go of them townhomes. What's a native to a native? He $5 dough if he not melanated. Pale faces got you waiting on a savior. Sending prayers up, he texting back on vacation. Yeah, God's children. Give all your praise to Jesus, but how God feeling? He say put no one before him in divine image. It's you with God or Christians. I got a vision, but niggas ain't gotta listen, so they don't. We came from the soil, wasn't fucking with no boats. Bible took our spirit, English potted on our homes. Tribal families turned on us, don't act like y'all don't know. But fuck them and they grudges. We was something turned to nothing. And now we nothing's turned to something. Reincarnation of ancients, fresh up out the oven. This the message to the black man. 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 Shooters on my roof, lawyers in the coop. We can never die, bitch, we bulletproof. This the message to the black man. This the message to the black man. Say you wasn't slaves, you was prisoners of war. And stop wasting your time, these other bitches ain't important. You ain't meditating, you ain't mating with the sauce. Like what the fuck's a noodle if you ain't painted with the sauce? I find it hard to trust the pastor who rather side with the master, who preaching we should submit while getting murdered and captured. About how we should wait on God is never our vernacular. They get
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. The alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me care. I gotta sleep with one eye open, you been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, deep my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I won't let them care, They won't see me care, I gotta sleep with one eye open, you been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, deep my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I can't let them care, They won't see me care, I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with Perky.
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes.
Make sure y'all hit that like button.
Coco, this your season right now.
And a pizza flip. The motherfucker's couch.
They won't see me. They won't let me care. I gotta sleep with one eye open, you been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, deep my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I won't let them care, They won't see me care, I gotta sleep with one eye open, you been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, deep my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I can't let them care, They won't see me care, I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with Perky, now that hair run up his veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with Dylan, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, trippin' making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup, I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, hit my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, trippin' making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup, I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, hit my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost, see, I glossed too, and shit ain't been the same. Heard the ops talking to the.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure everybody thumb up the video. Can we get a mic check? Can we get a mic check? Let's get a mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Check. We'll be back.
See, my life has been in motion. I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back, got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it.
All right, all right, all right. Let's get a mic check in the building. Let's get a mic check in the building. Let's get a mic check, mic check. Drop those fire emojis in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear. I think we might be having some technical difficulties. So let me know if y'all can hear me loud and clear in the chat. I want to make sure that's loud and clear in the chat. Drop those fire emojis to let me know if y'all can hear me loud and clear. It's your brother Aboriginal Power. Peace and blessings. I want to make sure we got enough brothers and sisters coming in the live stream. Just let me take the time to shout out everybody that took the time out to come rock with me. Shout out to India Goddess, Juan Torres, Christian Bridges, Chief Courtney, Michelle. Shout out to Vegas Dream, Tayshawn, Realize TV, Shy Alpha, Mike Pinterest. Shout out to Antone Williams, Coppertone, Following Our Heritage Apparel. Shout out to Ted Nance. Appreciate you for tapping in, Ted. I don't remember seeing you in the chat, so good to see you in here. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Knots 0407. Shout out to Copper Color Nations. Who else we got up in here? Shout out to Lady Lynn. Shout out to Mound City Mellow. Shout out to Marla Crossley. Shout out to Indian Fee in the building. Y'all shout out to Indian Fee. Y'all show Indian Fee some love in the building. Tyreek, Matrix Glitch, and Darius Matthews. Shout out to Darius Matthews in the building, you guys. Shout out to Darius Matthews in the building. Who else we got? We missed a few people. Rob McCoy, Elizabeth Young, Tanya Lloyd, J-Rock, Chick Homedy Roots, Khalid, Aborigine Amerindian. Who else? I don't want to miss nobody. Make sure y'all thumb up the video. Shout out to Blackfoot Albo. Shout out to Shannon L. Infinity as well. Shout out to Infinity. Yeah, peace and blessings to you guys. We got a nice little live stream popping up for you guys. Y'all see the title. Why you shouldn't believe we are genetically connected to Africa or genetically come from Africa. That's malarkey. I do understand why people do say that based off indoctrination and persuasion of altered history. But we're gonna get into that. Deep down, sometimes you gotta tap into your memory cells. You gotta tap into your soul to answer some of these pertinent questions about who you are. So we're gonna get into that topic of conversation. Uh, I guess right now, man. Let's get y'all to thumb up the video. Let's try to get 100 people in here. Within the next 4 to 5 minutes, I'm gonna need y'all to share the live stream on all your social media outlets. And by the end of the video, let's try to get 300, 400 people in here. Okay, let's try to get 300, 400 people in this great live stream today. You understand me? Shout out to y'all, man. Let's keep it going. Here you go.
Tell you why. Because I said I was going to attack this, and it was a choice between the liberated black female or just the liberated female in general and their delusions of life and things like that, and this. But I was itching to do this because I heard something Tariq Nasheed said, right? And again, no disrespect to Tariq Nasheed. I like his work and everything for what it is. He said, and I quote that, black people, we so-called black people in America, are genetically African. That we are genetically African, but we are native. Or he said we're foundational black Americans, but we're still genetically African. And then he said something that was even more off. He goes, when the indigenous or that, foundational black people and Africans came over here, which was a small number, and they mixed in with us. Then we formed a whole nother culture as foundational black Americans, which don't make no sense to me. Let me first attack this nonsense about being genetically linked to a landmass. First and foremost, before I go, hey, can everybody hear me? Before I continue, we're going to kick a hole in that right now about being genetically linked to some landmass, because nobody's linked to any landmass. Okay, you cannot genetically be linked to any landmass. Okay, there's no such thing as being linked to landmass.
And I want to make sure I make this very clear. No scientist that deals with genetic astrology or genetic genealogy can connect you to a landmass. In other words, what we're saying and what he's saying is DNA is not associated with a landmass. A DNA cannot tell you what piece of earth you came from. That is a lie. That is pseudo. So anyone that is illustrating that fact is teaching you bullshit.
You can only be linked to people. All right, genetically linked to the people that you look like and things like that. Again, I told you to look for tribal Africans. To look for tribal Africans is as such, they have a very, a lot of them have a different blood type from us. I tend to have different blood types, different hair textures, different genetic makeup. You could look and tell the difference between tribal African and a so-called black person from America, born and raised in America. Two different types of people. Totally. There are similarities, there are resemblances, but they're two totally different people. Okay? The genetic material, for the most part, is similar, but it's not the same. It has similar things to it. Just like you said, we got similar things to Caucasian people. We have similar things to Asians. All of us have similar things as far as we got two arms, we got two legs, we got this. That's similar, but does that mean we are the same? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There are genetic factors, because again, they can tell you who's African and who's so-called African American. They can tell the difference. You see? Because if they couldn't, why are they doing genetic testing on your bloodline, seeing where you come from? If it's only really three races that tie in, people could tie back to, which is so-called black, white, and Asian, then what are they doing genetic pickups on our people or anybody for? Aren't you this percentage of that, you this percentage of that? Yeah, people are mixed in the bloodline, things like that, and certain bloodlines have been mixed in. But again, it doesn't tie you to a landmass. There's no such thing as being genetically tied to a landmass. You know what? Tariq.
And that's what I was trying to say. Like, certain people have a certain understanding and they growing. So it just takes some guidance, like the brother Tyreek kept saying. We're all technically genetically linked to Africa, and I kept saying I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. It's because it's a fallacy. No one's DNA is linked to no landmass. It's only associated with people on that landmass, and that means you cannot tell me whether these people came from here and went there, or we was there and came to here. And this is the confusion based off of DNA astrology, and we want to challenge the narrative because we know that they have been lying. One thing's for sure is you cannot link yourself to a landmass. We're already here in America. We're in America. We're not trying to link to Africa. Everybody's not just link. It's like you said, white people must go back to Africa. Everybody gonna have the same DNA story, if that's the case, with a few mutations that highlights in your genetic markers. You see what I'm saying? But other than that, we're not the same. Like I said, we have similarities, but we're not the same. We're not genetically linked to Africa. As a matter of fact, Africans, I don't even believe Africans really came over here. We got to keep it real. I don't believe they really came over here. Let's continue. Let's continue with the live.
She said the damn caves of the said that we are genetically African. There's no such thing as being genetically African or genetically European or genetically Asian. There's no such thing. People live in different areas. Our people lived all over the damn planet before these Caucasians and Asians even came out of the damn caves of the Caucasus Mountains. We lived on every part of the earth. So how are you going to say? And we, like I said, you have so-called black people living in Ireland, the Twa people. Now you'll say, okay, the Irish of that area, you'll link them because they came after the Twa people. But what about the Twa people? I think they turned twice. I forget what they call. But that's my point. People live in different places. You can't link people into a landmass. You see, how do you genetically come from the landmass? What you saying? We just jumped up out of the dirt and the dirt in the soil, and we just came to being. That's what you saying? We somehow transformed out of the dirt of Africa. Or you believe that we was formed by some god from some soil or dirt in Africa? We were not. Absolutely not. There's no such thing as being formed of the dust of the ground. No such thing. From the creatures, which are humans. When you're humans, people come from or evolve from other people. Your so-called human race, they evolved from other creatures. Your so-called scientists say that you're...
Hey, hit that like button. Thumb up the video, y'all. Thumb up the video. Share the live stream. We just getting started. Get these little hackers out the chat. These little Russian hackers. We have these weird names. Get them fuckers out my chat ASAP. We gotta kill them immediately. All snipe them.
Your humans, right, evolved from apes. Right? They say humans evolved from apes. And even if you say, oh, man came from a god or a higher being or whatever the case may be, the point is you came from origin, a life form, not a piece of dirt, not a piece of concrete, a piece of soil. No, you came from something that was living, something that had a heartbeat, a biological structure, something. You came from something, be it animal, whatever. Now we know your humans come from animals. They come from apes, according to their scientists. But we know even more. They come from apes. They come from jackals, and they come from the mitochondria DNA of the so-called black woman. That's where your humans come from. Okay? Now, where do your so-called black people come from? We come from so-called black people. You know, we come from an almond genetic, a projected genetic of a living form or life form of beings that are. We come from a continuous life form of beings, a higher level beings. That's where we come from. We actually have no creation. We have no creation point. So-called black people have no creation point on earth. Third dimensional state as physical beings. So, I was watching this thing. A lot of y'all might not. This thing on. They had this document. This little thing on Amun Ra or Amun Ray, right? And they was talking about how Amun Ray created himself, from created himself, or manifested himself, or created himself in living form, right? Now, to the people that's hearing that and listening to that, they don't know what that means. How could God create himself? How could a person who does not exist or whatever create himself or bring himself into being? Well, all that meant was that Amen from the fourth dimension projected key into the third dimension into the form you see right now. They had a different kind of form in the fourth dimension, a more extended form. So they projected the
So I think you guys don't know what the hell happened. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. A little technical difficulties. All right, then.
on he formed a whole nother culture as foundational Black American. Look like his things, blood, his lines, things like that. And certain bloodlines have been mixed in, but again, doesn't tie you to a landmass.
Hey, so listen, I went back a little too far, so let's get it going. I skipped it up a little bit. Let's get it going.
Soil or dirt now with your humans. When you're humans, people come from or evolve from other people. Your so-called human race, they evolve from other creatures. Your so-called scientists say that your humans, right, evolved from apes, right? They say humans evolved from apes. And even if you say, oh, man came from a god or a higher being or whatever the case may be, the point is you came from origin, a life form, not a piece of dirt, not a piece of concrete, a piece of soil. No, you came from something that was living, something that had a heartbeat, a biological structure, something. You came from something, be it animal, whatever. Now we know your humans come from animals. They come from apes, according to their scientists. But we know even more. They come from apes. They come from jackals, and they come from the mitochondria DNA of the so-called Black woman. That's where your humans come from. Right? Now, where do your so-called Black people come from? We come from so-called Black people. We come from an almond genetic, a projected genetic of a living form or life form of beings that are beyond this three-dimensional atmosphere, beyond this three-dimensional realm. We come from a continuous life form of beings, a higher level beings. That's where we come from. We actually have no creation. We have no creation point. So-called Black people have no creation point on Earth. None. We were projected here from a higher dimension into the third dimensional state as physical beings. So, I was watching this thing. A lot of y'all might not, this thing on, they had this document, this little thing on Amun Ra or Amun Ray, right? And they was talking about how Amun Ray created himself, from created himself or, manifested himself or created himself in living form, right? Now, to the people that's hearing that and listening to that, they don't know what that means. How could God create himself? How could a person who does not exist or whatever create himself or bring himself into being? Well, all that meant was that Amen from the fourth dimension projected key into the third dimension into the form you see right now. They had a different kind of form in the fourth dimension, a more extended form. So they projected themselves into a physical state within the three-dimensional realm from a higher state. In other words, they transported themselves, transferred themselves, right, to the state they in. That's all. That's what it means when they say created, because anything they use the term created, but it really wasn't a creation. It was a projection from a higher state. Humans were created from animals. Again, from those who come from higher life forms and those who come from lower life forms. Again, there's life forms. You're not coming from no damn dirt. You're not coming from a piece of ground or soil or whatnot. We are genetically from Africa. That's what that would mean. Does that even make sense? Does that make sense? See? Does that even make sense? Somebody says you are genetically from Africa, place, then that means you have to be connected to the land, to the soil, whatever. That you came out the dirt. That's literally what that means. Now they say, no, well, we mean the people that lived there. Well, you can't say that because you had many different groups of people that lived in different places. You see? So you can't say that. They call the so-called Native Americans, which are Mongoloid Indians. They try to basically discard the fact these people came from someplace else. They keep calling these people Native American Indians or people that were here in America first, which is a lie. They came from someplace else. Now, if you're saying that you determine as people who come genetically from that place and link to that people as the first people in that area, that means every place on earth is really our homeland, because we was in every place first. But now if you want to say when you get to America, then that would be, then you would have to say that the Native Americans are falsely being called African Americans. You would have to say that. Because we are the first ones, and it's been proven that we're on this land. We were on this land first. Okay? Before everybody. I'm talking about millenniums and millenniums ago. Our people been here. Been here for millennia.
And not only was we here, we had already built great monuments. We had already had structure. We had roads. We had government. We had city buildings, civic buildings. We had tax places. We had man, we had it going on. Nursing homes. We had city ordinance. You see me? Laws that had to be abided by here in America. They got like we was uncivilized people, man. This is them lying and destroying your ancient history. We are the Aboriginal people here that has been traveling and giving birth and civilizing the world since the beginning of time. You've seen it in more recent times when they even took some of our brothers and sisters and sent them out to Africa, Sierra Leone, Cameroon, Libya, what the fuck that is? Liberia, excuse me. Liberia. You feel what I'm saying? We gotta realize a lot of the even a lot of the roads and schools and memorial highways is named after American people like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass and shit like that. They got shit like named that over there in Liberia in Cameroon. And it's funny that over there you find us civilizing and colonizing this place. So that means you will find genetic structures from our people over there. It's ironic that when they start doing the DNA analysis of Walter Perry's or Albert Perry's DNA going back 300 and some thousand years old, they couldn't find it nowhere else. All of a sudden, they found it in the places where we civilized it. The only places where Americans went to colonize, they find their DNA in Cameroon. In small traces. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We just going in. It's your brother, Big Aboriginal Power. We ain't even hit 30 minutes yet. We got 150 people in here. Share the live stream. Let's try to get 250 people in here. Let's continue. Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Not since no 1526. Tariq Nasheed kept talking about, when 16 something, 15. That's when the Africans came and they mixed in with us and we became a whole nother people. How are we gonna become a whole nother people when we was already here? How we became a whole nother people? We was always American. Us who was born here in America and whatnot, we already had a culture here. See, this is what people keep overlooking. I hate that term. I hate the term they keep with this black Indian stuff. We're not black people and we're not Indians. I told you the Indians are dot heads. Those are Asians. We're not Asians. We're not black Asians. You see, please stop with this nonsense. We are not black Asians. We're not black anything. We've always been the Americans here. Now, but that's why I say it just makes me like scratch my head at some of these people who seem like they're trying to wrap they mind around things and steer it in another direction. I mean, what's wrong with just saying our people are the Mesoamericans, we are the Native Americans? Because we claiming the Olmecs, we claiming the Aztec, we claiming the Inca, we claiming the Mayan, we claiming all that as our people. They're first Americans here. So we have an American culture. We are claiming what they're calling American Indian culture, which is really a ripoff of Mesoamerican culture coming from the Aztec and the Mayan people, the feathers in the hair, which goes back into ancient Egypt and all those other places. That's how you could tell all that feathers in the hair and the tapestry and the fine clothing and the linen and the pottery and the architecture, the pyramids. That's all our culture, man. I'm sick and tired talking about? He was already here in America for millenniums. What are you talking about? We became a new people. Wow. How? And again, if you saying we come from Africa, then how come we ain't when we came over here, we didn't bring over no kind of African connection to anything, none of their customs, traditions, or nothing. You mean to tell me the white man just beat it all out of us, huh? Stop. Stop. We just forgot about everything, huh? Making it seem like it's an anomaly that it was bronze people here in America. Now, that's what I can't stand. They make it, and then you use another terminology. I'm gonna just say, I'm not bashing you, but I don't know if you're misinformed. That he was saying the red Native Americans. What do you mean the red Native Americans?
Right, them people are
what he mean is the Mongoloid Indians. See, that right there tell me it's off with you. Because you're saying
and what it is he don't have the history like we have, big bruh. They don't have the understanding that these Mongoloids, that they people that you call Native or Indians today, are just enslaved Asians. You see what I'm saying? Keep it going, man.
And he was saying the red Native Americans. What do you mean the red Native Americans? What he mean is the Mongoloid Indians. See, that right there tell me it's off with you. Because you saying the red Native Americans, those people are not Native Americans. They're the only Native Americans. What part of this don't you get? You can't say, oh, we the indigenous foundational so-called Black Americans, but then you come out, we link to Africa, but then you say don't use the term African because it's a trick bag. But if you telling people that originally and genetically we from Africa, then what they gonna do but say they're African? What you think they're gonna do? You gonna tell them we genetically from Africa, but when we came to America, then we became American. In our culture, we outgrew that culture of Africa. No, that's not what happened. It's not what happened. How about our people are the real Native Americans, and there's no red Americans. The only Native Americans is so-called Black Americans. How about saying that? Because that's the truth, real truth. Stop with this red Indian, Black Indian BS, man. Stop it. You Negroes need to stop that. Even you guys with the guy, what's that guy's name? To do all the videos, Dane Calloway. Y'all keep
right. Nigga be showing Mongoloids acting like they motherfucking nigga Indians. These niggas confused on who we are as well. That's why if you don't have a clear understanding of history, you shouldn't be illustrating factors of history. Talk that shit.
The real truth. Stop with this red Indian, Black Indian BS, man. Stop it. You Negroes need to stop that. Even you guys with the guy, what's that guy's name? To do all the videos, Dane Calloway. Y'all keep bringing up Dane Calloway. But again, these guys, all they show, a lot of these guys, no disrespect to nobody, but all these guys show is a bunch of mixed race ass Asians and Black people. Our people go back way before that, man. Way before that. They want to make it seem like we just some mixed race niggas hanging on to the guys. No disrespect to nobody, but all these guys show is a bunch of mixed race ass Asians and Black people. Our people go back way before that, man. Way before that. They want to make it seem like we just some mixed race niggas hanging on to the so-called red Mongoloid Indians. The Mongoloid Asiatics, that it's really, Native American culture, Indian culture, really, they the real natives, but we just mixed in with them. No, it ain't that way. You got it backwards. They mixed in with us. Get it straight.
That's a fact.
They mixed in with us.
That's a fact.
Trying to create some kind of African narrative to this. You still trying to create an African narrative to this. There's no African narrative to be had for this. See? Stop it. Stop it. See, and when somebody, and again, whenever the real truth is being put out, somebody always got to put out a fake truth. You know what the fake truth is? The fake truth is half the shit is half the shit, and then you want to still mix in the other half, and because then you say we don't need, we got to stop the African American thing. I agree with that. I don't know. I identify no African American because that's an immigrant term. Something I said before that you're now saying. Coincidentally, think not. Again, I'm not taking shots at Tariq Nasheed, but I'm like, you're confusing people, bro. Confusing people.
True.
Confusing people by saying that the Red Indians are native to this land. They are not native to this land. They came from someplace else. They crossed the Bering Straits. They're from Asia. Those are Asians that came in here and mixed in with the black people that was already, so-called black people that were already here. We are the only Native Americans here. We're the only indigenous Americans here. We're the only, as you say, foundational Americans.
Now, mind you, when he say Native Americans, he's using the term Native American, how we use the word Aboriginal. I just want to make that clear. If y'all not able to eat the meat and spit out the bones and understand where this brother is coming from, because he's also elaborating on what he means. So he's meaning Native American as the same way we use Aboriginal American. Okay.
Here. We're only Americans here, and the only people that got the right to truly wear that name. Not as no African American, not as no Black American, but just as that American. That's it. The same way facts. Italians are known for being.
That's facts. We shouldn't have to add anything on to Aboriginal. We shouldn't have to add it. Even if you want to get rid of the word Aboriginal and just stand by your nationhood, you shouldn't have to add black, white, brown, dark, or nothing on to American. Because when you look it up, people know who the first American is. They history tell you that they came here, and they history tell you that it was niggas here. We are the niggas that was here. We are the American, the only American, the true American, the first American. Shout out to Chief Holiday.
And their heritage goes back to the Roman period, because again, all Italians are Romans. Linked to Italy, they're linked to Rome. That's why today they're still Roman Catholics. All Italians are linked to that because of that heritage. Okay? So the same way they're linked by their history, and they're linked to the people, the Romans. They didn't say they linked to that land called Italy, because somebody could come in that place and take it over and it'll be called something else. And a whole bunch of other people could come live there. What you gonna say then? You see, have to be linked to a living form, a life form, whether it be on a higher level or on a lower level. Because life don't start from no just no dirt, no land mass, or some people moving all over the place. It's people. We are American because we are linked to the ancient Mesoamerican. We are American because we are linked to the ancient Mesoamerican. I'm going to say it again. We are American because we are linked to the ancient Mesoamericans, the Aztec, the Inca, the Mayans, the Olmec. See, I don't play them games of, we part African, we genetically African, but see, we really American. Now, there's something that ain't nothing new. That's not new. Stop linking us to the Africans. We're not African. Then you tell people, I got to stop saying y'all African. You got to stop saying, we got to stop. But you not helping.
Yeah, you're not helping. You can't tell somebody to stop using the word Africa. Africa is not a good term for us. But then in the same conversation, say that we're all genetically linked to Africa. That doesn't make any sense. That's why we add clarity to where we stand with this Aboriginal information. Shout out to the American Aborigines in the chat. Shout out to my FBA brothers and sisters that's coming in, listening, tuning in. Hopefully, y'all be able to get some information out of this.
And you
and dive deeper
people.
into your
if
information.
You want to tell people to stop claiming African, because you still got a lot of these pro-black Negroes who believe their skin is black still. They still in the damn on the slow bus with that. Believe their skin is black. And you still sitting up here pushing this whole thing of African. If you still push this thing of African, Tariq, all you people that want to still hang on to this Mama Africa nonsense and that, and all these Oguns and Oshuns and all, and act like we didn't have no culture here in America, a real culture. You don't want to talk about the Olmecs. You don't want to talk about the Aztec. You don't want to talk about the Mayan. You claim you do so much research. You can go see our people on those walls. Why ain't you touching on that, Tariq? Why are you acting like we new to this? Why are you acting like
when he say you can go look at your peoples on the walls, he means the pyramids and temples throughout America that shows and illustrate the mirrors and depict what the people was doing and what they look like. These are Negroes throughout the Mayan, Olmec, Toltec, Mississippian, Poverty Point, Peruvian culture. These are Negroes illustrated time and time again through mirrors, codexes, steles, various different forms of documentation that your ancestors, that our ancestors wrote down themselves, that they drew and depicted themselves as. Okay?
America don't belong to us, and that name American belongs to us. That name belongs to us more than Africa. Told you that. Africa's a Greek word. America is a Mayan word.
Yep, and it comes from the tribes in America, the Ameri tribe, the Amaru. This is how you get the Amerindian or American. The Ameri tribe was throughout the Americas.
That word America comes from us. We were the first people to inhabit America. We were the first ones to build civilization here, straight up like that. See how simple that is? You don't see no in-betweens. See what happened was, no, that's you putting your spin on it. We are the Mesoamericans, and therefore we are the only real Native Americans today. I said it, and we're falsely being called black people and African Americans. I said it. And I stand on it just like that. Stop fucking around with the bullshit, Tariq. Fucking around with this whole we still African nonsense. And I say that with love. Because I like your little things you do.
I do too. That's why we support Tariq. Because we agree with a lot of shit. We actually like a lot of the shit. It's certain narratives of history that has to be altered. There's words that have to be substituted that you are using now that takes you away from your true lineage and heritage. That's all. Wake up, Tariq. We just want you to listen. We just want to have that one-on-one conversation with you. It ain't gotta be live, be behind the scenes, showing you primary after primary who we are and what we was already doing here and how we are not genetically linked to Africa for the most of
it. You see, when you put stuff out there, it's for scrutiny. And again, bro, I ain't got no beef. I got no problem with you. I'm not mad at you. I'm gonna say it as it is. Get how you want it. See, because you putting it out here, that and you are broadcasting, and you saying that, and you confusing people. Because at one point you was like talking about you keep giving this number of 1526. Why are you giving 1526 as a number? As if this is the time in which we was always here. We're always here in America.
Yeah, I said that's weird too, because I said, why he start off the FBA shit at 1526 when Christopher Columbus and all the Jesuits in the 1400s was describing Negroes in the 1400s. And the Olmecs we know that we all mention of is definitely Negro who was here 3,000 years ago, at least. We got to start paying close attention and start using critical thinking and analyzing. Sometimes we just talk and we just going off of old regurgitation and you ain't critically thinking. Tariq would have critically think. He's telling you Africa, we shouldn't use that term Africa. It's no good for us. But if he was critically thinking, he wouldn't even tell you that you was genetically linked to Africa if you say the Aboriginal peoples here mixed with Africans. Either these are old Africans mixing with new Africans, or these are Aboriginal mixing with Africans and they have no African genetic linking to Africa at all. Which one is it? We can't use the double tongue conversation in most of these paradigms.
On the American territories, setting up mounds, setting up civilizations, mound cities, and things. We was always here. That's nothing new. That was way before the.
Hey, let me say shout out to the FBA brothers and sisters that's in the chat. And hey, to my Aboriginal brothers and sisters in the chat, y'all already know. Drop them fire emojis in the chat. Stand up, Aborigines. Stand up, FBA brothers. Y'all gonna get it. Y'all coming along. We right here with you. We ain't pushing you away. We guiding you to where we are. Showing you how we got to the same conclusion.
Confusing people. Because at one point you was like talking about you keep giving this number of 1526. Why are you giving 1526 as a number? As if this is the time in which we was always here. We're always here in America. On the American territories, setting up mounds, setting up civilizations, mound cities, and things. We was always here. That's nothing new. That was way before the 1500s. We was here in America, or in the American territory. Just like that. How hard is it to say that? How hard is it to say that? And like I said, I would have usually have saved this broadcast. I would have usually have saved this for Mesoamerican Radio. I could have easily saved this for Mesoamerican Radio. But see, I did this because this topic was hot with me because you just said it. Tariq Nasheed had just said it. And I was like, wow. Yeah, I know you speaking on that. That's your new,
Hey, one true Iceman. We rock with Tariq. We really do. We support Tariq 100%. We just don't agree with some of his historical narrative based off of real data and fact. So yeah, we definitely want to have that conversation with him, and we might jump into spaces. We all might flood it one night and just go to the space. I might go live and be like, yo, we going to the spaces. Whoever get in, shout out Aboriginal Power. We're gonna get straight to this info. We're gonna lock it down. So yeah, we might do that one day. But right now, we just focusing on the topic and piggybacking at hand and just correcting and using critical thinking to replace some of the talking points that he had put on us. And one of the most projected ones is us being Aboriginals genetically linked to Africa. We want to make sure we discombobulate that whole ideology because it's totally absurd. No geneticist, no one's DNA, no one's blood is linked to a land mass. It's only associated with people that may occupy that land mass at this current time. Okay, it does not associate you with a land mass, nor historically does that. Okay, all right. I just want to make that clear.
That's the thing you're speaking on, and you said native, but you stopped using the word native for a reason. A lot of you guys, like I said, let's just say it like it is. All of what they call in American Indian culture, feathers in the hair, the moccasins, and all that, that's all Mesoamerican culture. All of that. All that's Mesoamerican culture. All that's ripped off from Mesoamerican.
Not just motherfucking moccasins, because I feel like moccasins is the way that the Native Americans are able to inch their way in it. But you had boots and rubber shoes 2,000 years ago by the Olmec people. They created rubber shoes. You can go to they had flip-flops and crops and shit. You can go to one of the Boma Park Mirrors right here. Let's show the illustration of the Boma Park Mirror right quick. You can look at this Negro in Mexico. And this would be the Texas and Mexico region right here. This is what a Negro would have dressed like. He wouldn't have had flip-flop. He wouldn't have had, then he had rubber shoes up to the ankles with medallions on and clothes with capes and headbands and jewelry and tattoos and shit. Simply illustrating the Negro phenotype. And Negroes dominantly are a lot larger in physicality than Mexicans and Asians. When you see a normal Negro in America next to an Asian, we're usually physically taller than them. And you can see this also illustrated in this Boma Park Mirror. This is a primary source from the Aboriginals, the Mayans in this area depicted and drew this themselves. The white man didn't do this. Your ancestors illustrated this documentation. I just want to make sure that was clear, okay? I just want to make sure that was clear because a lot of them ain't telling you these things. We've been had rubber shoes.
That's what America at certain points in time. They beating on drums and dancing and stuff like that, hair braiding, feathers in the hair. That's all Mesoamerican culture. Leather this, moccasins, handcrafted. That's all bronze women. Mesoamerican stuff.
And make sure y'all support the channel. Somebody said we speaking broken English. No. We're speaking broken indigenous language in the form of English today. When you look up a lot of these words that you use on the regular, they actually are Aboriginal indigenous words that was formed by Aboriginal indigenous people with meaning and definition by the Aboriginal people. It just happened to be inserted into English language. So we're speaking broken indigenous language when you speak in this form of English. I just want to make that clear as well.
American stuff. Iron, Olmec.
And shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure y'all support the channel. Let me say shout out to the brother that took the time out to support the channel with a Cash App donation. Shout out to Grassroots, said Malcolm X soundbite, you and I are Aboriginals. All right, that's a fact. I need to get that. Somebody send me that clip. Tech guy, where my tech guy? Need him to get send us that so we can get that. Make sure y'all support the channel. Shout out to Grassroots for supporting the channel with the cash out donation. For those that want to donate, I will put that ticking on the screen. So it's now ticking across the bottom of the screen right now. So make sure y'all tune in, support the channel. Let's continue this thing out, man. Like I said, man, don't let these people persuade you on anything. We got to challenge the narrative. You feel what I'm saying? We are the Olmec. We are the Mayan. We are connected to these people. That's why we the Americans. That's why we the first Americans.
Beating on drums and dancing and stuff like the hair braiding feathers in the hair. That's all Mesoamerican culture. Leather this, moccasins, handcrafted. That's all bronze women. Mesoamerican stuff. Mayan, Olmec, Aztec, these are all the same people. Our people been here before the so-called Red Indians, as you call them, came here. Our people were already here way before they even thought about.
Hey, Ted Nance, I appreciate you for tapping in. I'm glad that you're enjoying the channel and the content. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. We go in deep. We have these good conversations. You be allowed to call in or jump on the panel and ask questions for clarity. So I appreciate your subscribe, bro. I appreciate you for tapping in.
This moccasins, handcrafted, that's all bronze women. Mesoamerican stuff. Mayan, Olmec, Aztec, these are all the same people. Our people been here before the so-called Red Indians, as you call them, came here. Our people were already here way before they even thought about crossing the Bering Straits and coming into America as the first real immigrants of America. Because you do know the people that you're calling Native Americans, they're the first real immigrants of America. They're the real first immigrants. The red immigrants, the so-called red Mongoloid Indians, are the first immigrants in America. See, you sitting up here calling them natives. You can't have two native people. Cannot. It's either one was here first, one was here before the other. There's no such thing as two native people. Unless you got two divided land masses. And somebody came to one side, somebody came to the other, but you decide who's native by who was here first. Who was here first? They came after us. So that means they're not native. We are. They're the first immigrants here.
And that's because what we've been saying.
They chose to come here into this territory.
And that's what we've been saying. Like I said, this shows the motherfucker who was occupying the land, and this shows you what happened when an invader came to our land. This illustrates it all right here.
Just like all the other immigrants that followed them, the Caucasians and everybody else that followed the first so-called American immigrants, which were your Mongoloid red Mongoloid Asiatics, your Mongolians, who end up coming in and mixing their seed with us, and that's what you see. So-called, that's where the whole American Indian thing came from. That's where you see a mixture of so-called black people and Asian people. You see the slanted eyes, you see the straight hair, you see the dark skin like bronze people, and you see, like I said, that's the Asian mix, that's the Asian influence, the Mongolian, as they say, Mongoloid, which is Asian influence. That's why you look at a lot of so-called black people who have these people mixed in. You see our people got the slanted eyes. Some of our people got that Asian look to them. You see some of our people's hairs a little more thinner, thinner than others, a little, as they say, finer or thinner than others. That's their influence there, but we absorbed all of that. So that don't make them native. It makes you native to a land is that you were there first. We were here first for everybody. We watched everybody come to these shores. From the Mongoloid Indians, which you pointed out, Tariq, you said, the Mongoloid Indians, they really didn't have no skills. I think you said that you picked up that talking point, which I said earlier, about these people not having no skills and none of this thing.
See, when you get into a book, I want all y'all to go get this book. It's called The American Indian Encyclopedia, 15,000 years of invention and innovation. It talks about how these quote unquote Native Americans don't have no culture. They call them plain Indians. In the book, they refer to them as plain Indians. Now, I shouldn't have to mix up anything, but if I tell you something is plain, that means it don't come with nothing. It don't have anything with it or on it. If I say I got a plain this or plain that, that means it don't have nothing. And this is what they describe these people in history. They are plain Indians.
They didn't know how to do much of anything. They didn't. It's like the so-called white man. All they could do is get weapons and guns from the white man, and then eventually help the white man enslave us, because that's what the white man used them for. Basically, I'm gonna show you something. It's funny how you talk about how the white man brings in these tether classes or uses these different races of people to neutralize so-called black people. What do you think they was doing with the so-called Mongoloid Indians, the Red Indians back then? They used the so-called Mongoloid Red Indians to help neutralize, to work against slaves running away. Because they was like,
not just slaves, our POW aboriginals. Go look at the Seminoles after they fought with the American government, and they went down to the Spanish border, and they would help protect the Spanish border for immunity, right? They was help protecting the border against United States, right? And plain Indians, right? The Apache, the Kiowas, and all these other little plain Indian tribes out there. This is a fact. The Seminoles went down to the south, to the border, to help protect it against those people. So you had aboriginals helping protect the area against whites and Native Americans. This is fact.
It's like, well, damn, we could use these Red Indians, because we can't stop all these niggas from running away. See, so what we can do is they run into them running away. So what we could do is we'll just allow them to be white like us, and they could be down with us. But you got a lot of Uncle Tom ass red Mongoloid Indians. So they wanted to be white, and the white man was already mixing in with a lot of them anyways. They started the race mixing. So, they wanted to be down. They wanted to be considered white. And so the white man, the beast, let them own black people, let them own slaves. So, the whole point of doing that was, well, if we let them own slaves.
And most of these Native Americans, quote unquote, that you hearing about that own slaves are just white men that was identifying as Native American. These are what you would call these $5 Indians, getting Indian benefits, that was also catching these POWs.
If the black people escape or run away, they'll turn back over the slaves to us, because, see, that as fellow slaveholders, they're going to be against the niggas with us. That's why I said a lot of these red-ass Mongoloid Indians, you talking about, they racist as hell, man. These red-ass Mongoloid Indians who mix with Caucasian, but the Sally, Running Foot, John, Yellow Bear, Tall Bear, they racist as hell, man. They racist as hell. Like you, Negro. They love the so-called white man who put hell on them, according to what they say. They love him more than they love him. They don't love you niggas. Up here trying to act like, oh, like you merging into their culture. Like I said, y'all always got this mentality, this slave mentality, like somebody did y'all a favor, like you merging into their culture. But I know that when y'all say stuff like stupid things like black Indians, there ain't no damn black Indians. We're Mesoamericans. We're Americans. The real native ancient Americans. See, Mesoamericans. But again, why is that not coming out? Why is that not coming out of these so-called black scholars' mouths? Why they ain't coming out of Tariq Nasheed's mouth? You do a lot of studying, you do documentaries. You're going to tell me that you don't know that the native Aztec, Olmec, Inca, and the Mayan, those are black people. Those are civilizations of black people, so-called black people, and that we are descendants of those people. We are the descendants of those people. We are not no descendants of no Africans. We are descendants of the ancient Mesoamerican people. We're not descendants of any tribal Africans. Stop it. Y'all sound about as ridiculous as you damn Israelites talking about, oh, the ancient Egyptians is really nihilistic Africans, meaning they're tribal Africans. They are not tribal Africans. You can clearly see on the wall these are not tribal Africans. But you so-called Israelites, you'll lie just so that you can keep that biblical fairy tale of y'all being in captivity and bondage to the Egyptians. So you got to make the Egyptians African, and the Africans had you in bondage, and you're going to make up that lie. You got to make up that lie. So we got a whole lot of liars there who heavily invested in the slave ship lie, who heavily invested in the slave ship narrative. We got a lot of liars. You see, and we got to stop allowing these people to tell lies. We got to stop allowing these people to make up lies. Okay? We got to stop allowing people to tell us stupid things like we supposed to be genetically linked to Africa and that we supposed to have some sort of allegiance or some sort of reverence for Africa. The hell with Africa. The Africans don't do a goddamn thing for us over here in America, especially all you to tribal. They don't want to have nothing to do with you, man. They do come over here into America, like I said, they don't know you niggas, man. They don't know you. They calling you all kind of names like Akata and all kind of things. They insulting you. They don't want you around. Don't fool with y'all. See. So stop with the whole African nonsense, man. You bigging up a culture of people who don't give a shit about you. Bigging up people who don't give a shit about you. They look down on you, if anything. And here it is, you leave a whole damn heritage on the table, man. You leaving a whole heritage on the table. You leaving heritage on the table. Stop it, man. Ain't no more leaving the heritage on the table, man. Stop leaving our heritage on the table for other people to take. See, because while y'all left our ancient Mesoamerican heritage, our American heritage on the table, you let everybody and their mother take hold of our thing, and now you got these damn Latinx, these Latino X's claiming that they the Mesoamericans, that they the Olmecs, that they the Aztec, they.
Right, and that's what I'll be trying to say. Is so many people coming over here depriving off our fucking culture. We have a hard time, y'all. We really gotta wake the fuck up. These Mexicans claiming your Mayan, Olmec, and Aztec culture, right? While other foreigners is usurping your modern day culture. We gotta clear the scene. We gotta start stepping and taking ownership of what is rightfully ours. You motherfuckers sit back, keep talking back to Africa. Ain't found no culture in West Africa. There's no civilization going back 2,000, 3,000 years in West Africa. There's no written language going back 2,000 years in West Africa. They give you a shit sandwich without the bread. And y'all expecting for us to sit here and not allow this bullshit to go on. No, when we sit here telling y'all, listen, y'all are not about to tell us who the fuck we is and who the fuck we ain't. We know who the fuck these Aboriginal is. Our ancestors documented. Y'all fuckers are trying to lie and cover it up, but they documented with great detail. They were some of the best record keepers of their time to illustrate shit. And they was illustrating who they was, what they did, and who the fuck the people that was invading this land looked like. All right? So don't let these fuckers keep telling you we're not no fucking Africans.
In the mind, sitting up here trying to force their goddamn face up next to Olmec faces and heads. Here it is. You got these Olmecs with broad noses and lip things that they made fun of us for. Now, all of a sudden, because the Olmecs are seen as great people who set up civilization, oh, now that's not your people. Any other time, if they would have seen, they've been making fun of the Olmec's big noses and broad lips and wide face or whatever, they'd have been making fun of it. Now, all of a sudden, because it's linked to something great, it's something that these people are the real natives of America, and that, you know, they just forget the fact that they got features of so-called black people. Forget the fact that they got black features. You know, they're trying to look like felines. They're trying to look like cats. But then you got the damn Latinx, the Mexicans, the mongoloid-looking Mexicans with the straight hair. You got them trying to put their face up next to the Olmecs, looking like assholes. They look like idiots trying to put their face up next to a damn Olmec face. That's how bad people want to steal your culture. Who the hell want to steal African culture? Nobody. Who the hell want to sit here and claim that you come out of a mud hut? The white
Nobody. Shout to my man. He going to fucking in, man. Shout to the OG, man.
You know, they're trying to look like felines. They trying to look like cats. But then you got the damn Latinx, the Mexicans, the mongoloid-looking Mexicans with the straight hair. You got them trying to put their face up next to the Olmecs, looking like assholes. They look like idiots trying to put their face up next to a damn Olmec face. That's how bad people want to steal your culture. Who the hell want to steal African culture? Nobody. Who the hell want to sit here and claim that you come out of a mud hut? The white man want to take all civilizations that they know are our civilizations. They want to be the Egyptians. They want to be the Sumerians. They want to, hell, they will try to be the Nubians, but that's too, they can't take credit for that. So instead of trying to be the Nubians, they don't talk about the Nubians. They would try to be the Nubians if they could. They can't. So they'll be the Egyptians, They're gonna make films about the Mesoamericans soon. Watch. They're gonna be the Mesoamericans. They're gonna be the Olmecs. You're gonna see white boys or fat faced Mexicans with Olmec helmets on. These fat headed ass Mexicans with Olmec helmets on. Looking
I'm on the floor.
ridiculous. See, everybody wants to steal our culture because you niggas want to sit up here and lie about our culture. You want to keep on with this Mama Africa nonsense. And I'm going to just say it like this. Y'all sitting up here bigging up Africa. Y'all the only ones that's bigging up Pan-Africanism and African culture. Them people ain't bigging that up. You the only ones that's trying to push the dashikis and all this other stuff. You the only ones pushing that. Red, black, and green. They not even pushing that. So what that tell you? What that tell you? They not pushing that. Why they not pushing that? If it's such a great culture and a great heritage and everything else, why they not pushing dashikis and stuff? That's really not their thing, man. Saying a lot of you primitive Africans, either they want to stay with their primitive beliefs or they want to follow the Arabs and the Islam, or they want to be like the white man. They want to be Christians like the white man. And they want to come over to America and they want to wear suits and everything and act like you Negroes here in America. Try to blend in. They ain't trying to hear no damn African culture. You're the only one keeping this so-called Pan-African thing going. The only ones sit up here buying damn dashikis that's made by some damn Dutch companies and things like that, some Europeans who actually making them. You're the only ones doing that. You're the only ones making asses of yourself. Mama Africa. Because y'all so thirsty for a culture. So thirsty for a culture. Y'all gotta stop that, man. You gotta stop that. We gotta stop this foolishness of asking people to accept us and whatnot and try to, get with us. Nah, man, we gotta stop that foolishness. You see? Because we have a real culture, we have a real heritage, and we don't need nobody. We don't need to sit up here and try to take somebody else's. They'll sit up here and try to accuse us of trying to copy or steal Native American culture. That's how bold these motherfuckers are. Excuse my language. That's how bold they are. You even got the so-called Mongoloid Indians against you telling, oh, y'all ain't no natives, y'all African. You Africans. Okay, where in Africa? Yeah, where we Africans at? Where we Africans at? Where in Africa? Where we Africans at? Because it seems...
Yeah, these motherfucking Native Americans teaming up with Africans to get us the fuck out of here. Or the Pan-African at that.
Seems like it's very broad, this whole thing of us being African. It seems very broad. You can't point people to the homelands where they came from. Again, they don't sit up here and call a white man a European American. They don't sit up here. We're the only ones we do that with. See, I told you that whole thing come from Jesse Jackson at the behest of his superiors because they've been trying to make us. See, they don't give us specific places that we supposedly came from. They don't do that. They use con men like Henry Louis Gates, Skip Gates, to sit up here and tell us lies that we all from Africa. Oh, y'all ain't got no Native American, like I pointed out. Then you turned around and pointed out too, Tariq Nasheed. I pointed that out earlier. Clowns like Henry Louis Gates, his Mexican wife, Latino, whatever she is, Mr. Pro-Black man. See, these people, like I said, they full of crap, man. Full of crap. And we need to stop buying into the whole African genetics thing, because that's nothing. All you people come from this area, all you people come from that area. These are all Caucasian classifications. That's your Caucasian classifications of telling people you belong in this section over here, you African. You belong in this section over here, you Asian. The Asian and the white people belong over here in Europe. This is their section. But wait a minute. Technically, there's no such place as Europe. That's all Asia. All that is Asia. The white man's even Asian. He's a Caucasian. He's a Caucasian. But he's Asian. He's a bleached out Asiatic. He's no different than the Mongoloid Asians, the East Indian. They all the same people. They're all Asiatic people. He's just a Caucasian. Okay? Get that straight. We need to stop hearing lies from people. We don't need no more lies from people. We don't need to hear people lying to us. Too many people been up here lying to us. You see? Too many people are lying to us. Too many people sitting up here telling us, oh, see, y'all black and, you from Africa and all this other bullshit. See? When y'all gonna knock off the bullshit? When you gonna stop believing this foolishness from the beast? When are you gonna stop this? You see? When you gonna stop sitting up here being afraid?
So yeah, I ain't gonna play all this, man. This is actually how to pay for that on the Patreon. Shout out to that brother. He got some fire information. Got some fire information. I play a lot of his content. Shout out to that brother. This is the part of the video where I stop the live stream. We're gonna open up the panel and the call lines so we can piggyback off of that conversation. The main topic at hand is, stop allowing people to tell you what is not your culture, and that we're not genetically linked to Africa. We're not. So I'm gonna get ready to drop the open up the call lines. Let's get ready to get the call lines going. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat as well. So I'm gonna drop some music, 2-minute light up, so y'all can get on the panel.
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. The alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me hear. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling deep my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I won't let them care. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling deep my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I can't let them care. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with perky, now that hair on them is veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling deep my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I won't let them care. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling deep my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I can't let them care. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost see, I glossed to it, shit ain't been the same. Heard the ops talking to the feds, giving names. Who gon' feed my family if they take me out the game? Keep one in the head and one eye open, that ain't change. I'm quick to catch a body. When I shoot, he shoot, I know bro shooting right beside me. Them hollow tips go through the wall and then they hit his body.
All right. We back. The call-in number is in the chat. It's also pinned in the chat as well. So make sure y'all get them call-in numbers, calling in. And I also drop the link in the chat. The link is in the chat. If anybody want to come on and ask a question as well. So make sure y'all tap in. Let's get some call-in. 30 seconds. We'll be back.
Yeah. Hey man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like you don't shut up.
On the track.
A lot of niggas died 1865. Single Michael fled high, I ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hot and black was never on your side. They do maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man zone. And I ain't talking shit, this by definition. And being savage was our nation, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens. Instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business. White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say. We the guards of the gate, so when they say they feel God, now you know what they made.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got the brother Venom 314 in the building. What's up, Venom? How you feeling?
What's going What's going on, bro? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You pretty crispy.
Hey, man, I just want to give y'all a big shout out, man. Y'all doing a great job, man, bringing this knowledge to the people, man. And I every chance I get, man, I'm always here watching y'all and stuff like that, man. And I, appreciate the knowledge that y'all giving out. One of the things, I haven't heard y'all talk about, maybe I may have missed it, was there was several wars leading up to the Civil War that most people, well, not to say wars, but battles. One of the battles that's not really talked about is the Aboriginal personnel that took over a fort down in Louisiana. And that would have eventually ended the war before it started if they had took over that fort down in, I think it was down in New Orleans, down by New Orleans. It was a fort where they was bringing in all the ammunition and stuff for the South. But what happened was somehow they were overtaken, and so as a consequence, what happened was they cut their heads off and posted their heads on stakes along the Mississippi River, and it's not brought up that much. But it was a brother, I cannot think of his name. He actually did a documentary a couple years back. I haven't found the documentary that he did because he had put out like it was like a GoFundMe and stuff like that where he was reenacting that scene. Uh, but another brother, man, that's on
Oh,
YouTube,
damn,
man.
that would be dope as hell to get. That sounds pretty
Yeah,
dope. That's creative as hell. That sounds pretty dope.
because I'm not sure how many people heard of the Gullah Wars that actually took place with the Seminole Indians, with a battle along
Yeah,
South Carolina,
we're
Georgia area.
yeah, we're familiar with the Gullah Wars, or
Right,
some often called the Yamasee Wars.
correct.
Uh, Yeah, so yeah, it's a lot of wars. You got the battle between the Chickamaugas. You got that was against Henry Knox and William Blunt. You got Dragon Canoe. You got the expedition of Nickajack. You got a couple great wars going on that kind of shifted what was going on in our areas, in our great nations here. You know.
Yeah. I also want to give a shout out, man. It's another brother, man, on here that got some good knowledge, man. If y'all get a chance, go and check out his site. His name is Dan Calloway. I'm not sure if any of y'all familiar with him, but go and check him out, man. He has some great knowledge to give, you know what I'm saying, too. But y'all keep doing y'all thing, man. Don't let nobody keep you back. And we're gonna keep fighting this fight, man. One of the
Uh,
things that I tell you, I grew up, I'm from Mississippi, man. And I tell my people, my people, we've always known that we were Native Americans, because my Aboriginal people of this land, because my grandmother always instilled that in us. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the things that she instilled in us. And everything is there. We just got to go out and get this knowledge and get it to the people, you know.
and I appreciate that, man. I appreciate your wise words of wisdom, bro. I appreciate you for tapping in.
No problem, brother.
Peace and blessings. Shout out to the brother Venom. 314, man. Shout out to Venom. The link is in the chat, by the way. We got a caller on the line. Let's get to the caller. Let's get to the caller that we have. I think the caller hung up. The caller hung up. So we can get some more calls in whenever. Let's get some more calls in. The link is in the chat as well. But yeah, man, we gotta really start taking ownership of what's going on. A lot of this history is fabricated. A lot of it's been whitewashed, and most importantly, a lot of it is not even being told. It's because what you're being told is through reconstructed history and false narratives and inserted assertions. So what you got to deal with is cross-examining and critical thinking. uh it's a lot of history that is out here, you know what I'm saying? uh these people wasn't always on top of the game of indoctrinating and putting it in books as in lying form. They was trying to pretty much tell it like it is. You feel me? Only into recent, on the late early 1900s, during Jim Crow, is when they started to really refurbish the education systems and with the indoctrination system, taking out of a lot of the rich old history, you know what I'm saying, out of the education system. So yeah, man, that link is in the chat. Y'all get them call ins. Call in, call in, call in. The link is in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. We got Chief Arefa on the building with us. Let's let Chief Arefa on. What's up, Chief Arefa?
Peace, King. How are you? Peace to the chat. Peace to all the
Everything's nice.
listeners. What's going on, my brother? I wanted to thank you, man, for all the powerful information you've been putting out. Um, Everything from infrastructure here, pyramids, our people down in Central America, South America, North America, and the misconception of our people, being brought who were going to slave ships and all that. And wanted to add on to the conversation. Like, I'm out here in New York, right? So it's a whole different, melting pot of different types of people. Like, you got Latin, you got German, Russian, Hindu, and of course you got African, different types of people. So, and one thing I do notice is that they don't want us to be anything else but black. You feel me? Like, they don't want us to excel or exceed from any other position or station. Then that's where they really want us to stay stuck and stagnant and be in that one position. And like, we could get a little bit, like we get a little bit ahead, and that like that's really it. But they don't want us to shine, and like they'll come and like blood suck off the people, like, but they don't. There's no way to get back. Really, it's just really a come up here. And that's
I
really
got a
how it is.
question for you. I got a question for you though, Chief Arif, because you touched on some critical shit that is so true, and you touched on some truth. Why do you think that is that these people don't want us to claim our true heritage and that they keep pushing this African or this black paradigm amongst our people, and nobody else around the globe is getting this pushed on them? Why is this happening with us here in America? Well, why do you think that is, in your own words?
Well, in my own words, I would say that it's because of our inheritance. Definitely, is something that's being hid from us, and plain and simple. Once we recognize who we are and come into our right state of mind and being, everybody gonna have to bow to us, because as you show and prove on this show plenty of times on your platform, we are the originators, the creators of not modern civilization, but what people term, this current contemporary, type of culture, especially down here in North America. And as you said plenty of times, everybody's always running here. It's the breadbasket. We felt the world. Um, and why they don't want us to claim who we are is simply because of that. What's owed to us,
I feel like,
basically.
it's simple, man. Simple. They
I
don't
hope.
teach us nothing in school about our history,
Let me
about us.
let me.
And it's simply control,
Hey,
man.
hold on,
Control.
hold on, hold on,
Control.
hold on, just a second, big brother.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, slow. What's your name? Where you calling from? We got the brother Lucky Unit,
My name
Lucky.
is Lucky. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, man. Born and
Okay.
raised in Brooklyn, New York.
All right, shout
So,
out to you, brother. Peace and bliss. I appreciate you for tapping in to the live,
Thank you.
brother. Keep go back into your spiel. My bad. I just want to let the people know who you are, where you
All
calling
right.
from.
Like I said, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I'm 56, and I never learned nothing about my culture. I mean, culture. Who I am, who I really am. I don't know my great grandparents. I don't know none of that. All I know is that I feel like I learned about everybody's culture, the Jewish culture, the white man, and I learned about a lot of stuff. Columbus discovered America, everything. I learned everything about everybody except for myself. So I was like, I'm kind of like upset now. I come on here and I spew hate because we weren't taught. It ain't like embassies in Africa come over here and say, are black people okay over here? Are they checking on us? Did they care about us? I heard we were sold out because we weren't really Africans. They don't consider us to be Africans. If they did, they wouldn't have chased us out of there and shit like that, sold us off and everything. So I hear people sitting around now saying, "Oh, we African, we celebrating our African culture." I'm like, what? What? They don't consider us to be African. Like I said, they sold us off, did whatever to us, got rid of us. They didn't consider us to be Africans. So That's why I'm kind of mad because over
Hey,
here,
they really
big,
ain't sell us off though, like the
big,
brother was
big,
saying. We
big,
not
big,
really African.
big brother Lucky. I like that you
well,
touching
something
on
happened. Something happened, and over here they not going to tell us nothing.
you
Yeah,
touching on some good shit.
yeah, they not going to tell us
You
nothing,
touching
brother,
on some good shit,
because they want to
brother Lucky.
control us.
I want
They
to ask
want
you a question.
they could.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
yeah, because you touching on some good shit right here. But and I keep hearing you saying that they sold us off. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that there was blacks or Negroes here before slave trade, before white men came here?
I don't know that. I'm being truthful with you. I don't know that, but it probably was. It probably was. Yeah, I hear Dane teaching that. I hear
Wow. So
certain
look,
people
brother.
teaching that, and
So all right,
I don't
like,
know what to believe. I don't know what. How could we know unless we get
can
the
I just
truth?
want
Right.
to ask the brother a
Like
question
I
real
said,
quick.
I'm glad you that you touching in on the channel, bro.
Yeah,
That's what
because
we
like I was
that's
saying
what we
is,
highlight on this
uh-huh.
platform.
In,
We highlight
in
the
school, they don't
was
teach us that,
Negroes.
so we left in the dark. We left in the dark in school, so they use their mind control. Say we discovered this, we discovered that. We are the shit. It's crazy. It's crazy. Everything they discovered, they leave us. They try to leave us out of everything. You know,
That's that's
Hey,
I be
that's so
thanking
true.
God for y'all platform.
hey, can I interrupt for a second?
Who was that? Venom.
Yeah, this Venom, man. Hey,
Go ahead,
brother.
Venom.
Hey, I understand you know your feelings about about that, but let me explain something to you. First of all, they didn't discover anything. You can't discover anything that's already there. You know, every sense of their history that they have is history that they have stolen. They've stolen history from everywhere they went. Just the same as
Absolutely.
just the same as they stole gold, they stole artifacts, they stole everything from everywhere they've been. Now, one of the things that I always tell people is that we were already here, but one of the things that we don't get credit for is the language that we're speaking now. The language that we're speaking now, we were speaking that language when they first arrived here. When they first arrived in this country, we were speaking that language here on this land. And I'm going to prove it to you. You think of every nationality that has came to America afterwards, no matter what language that they speak, if you listen to their translation of their voices, no matter how far down generations after generations, you still hear some tiplet of that. And we can go to the actual the ones that came here from Africa, the Geechee tribe in South Carolina area, South Carolina, North Carolina area. Those personnel still have the dialect of tribes that were in Africa. Those personnel still have that dialect. If you get Puerto Ricans have that slang dialect. No matter how many generations they go about, you can still hear that in their dialect. So now you have to ask yourself, if we came from Africa, why do we not, no matter where you find a native, where you find Aboriginal American here in the United States, Black American, as some may say, but no matter where you find them at, if you hear the dialects, yeah, we may have some slang twang, from the Louisiana thing and stuff like that. But what you hear is our ability to speak English because it's our original language. This was our
Yeah, that's
original
why I tell
language.
people when you speak English, you're speaking broken indigenous languages. I mean,
Language.
from Algonquin to Arawak to all forms of indigenous languages, just smashed together and broken up into this English language. And that's also goes for the Spanish language as well. That goes for the Spanish language as well.
Right, a
So
lot of these languages are trading languages as well. And also I wanted to ask the brother Venom, what was the correlation? What's the relation between the Gullah, the African, you said words
Geechee.
or language that's in the Gullah Geechee language? What's the relation and the like how did that come about in your understanding? Like how do you
How do I feel it came about? Because we were trading with different nations. And so when
copy?
we was
Copy.
trading with those personnel, they were coming over here. I'm not gonna say, that there wasn't slaves that were brought here, up on the Mayflower and all of those ships. But
Right.
I heard somebody ask one of your previous shows here where they was asking about why are there no slave ships? Why can't you find a slave ship nowhere on this planet? You know, they go out and they find all these ships
They
out in the
say they
ocean.
found a ship. They found a ship when it was like a couple of months ago. Recently,
Where?
the ship.
Where?
They bringing it up in pieces. They bringing it up in pieces. That's
Nah, it
what they
wasn't
say.
really.
Right.
That's what the white
It
folks
wasn't
say.
But
really no slave like slavery like that. I mean, there was a lot of commerce, like the ships that we're thinking about, like the galleys and all that. Those type of ships that we're thinking about. We're bringing, different types of merchandise and products, like shipping. Like tea is a major thing. Tea and tobacco is big, like in England and all that, like in the
correct.
Northeast. And so that was a major part of our trade with England. And that was a major reason why I heard one time the other day, it was like, why did they give the Queen, why did the Queen have land here and all that? Or why did it was tea and tobacco, like, fags, cigarettes, whatever they call over there. And of
Chocolate,
course the
fruits,
palm,
vegetables, all kind of things.
major. We
Okay.
have infrastructure, trade, commerce here. So the slavery aspect is just like today, free labor, cheap labor. So you got to put it like that. There's nothing new under the sun. And
Okay.
so go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I hate to interrupt you, but
No,
one of
go
the
ahead,
things I
brother.
wanted to say about that is because Europe itself was black personnel. Now,
Indeed,
let
indeed.
me show you how dumb the white people are. I'm gonna show you just how dumb they are. Now they went right and they kept all the buildings that's over there. They kept all the coins and everything. If you look on those coins, if you even go and look up on their buildings, if you look up on the buildings of the personnel that built those buildings and the personnel that was in charge during that time frame, all of those personnel are black. If you go in Germany, if you look at the oldest buildings that's in Germany and stuff like that, when I was in the military, I would travel
So-called
around
black.
different places, and you would
Right,
see those, because they kept the stones and they kept them just like they were. So you saw
right.
black faces up on those buildings. If you go and look at their older
Indeed.
coins, see, a lot of person never went to their museums and stuff. So I would go to their museums. They
Right.
keep those things. They cherish those things. Why do they cherish those? Because they know that they did not belong to them. That is why we had trade going on with England way back then, because we were the same people.
Indeed. That's
We,
like
we
what
were the
Big
same.
AP
Go ahead.
he said. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother. He was well earlier he was saying um something about why the people here, why they don't want us to claim our nationality or claim, who we are. And that's part of it, like for us to understand who we are and, how things got to where it is, we all got to do our own research and, do our own searching.
Control,
Okay.
man.
There's
Yeah,
a
indeed,
doc.
control. But
Control.
like the
That's what
brother said too, it's all about money, because
control, man.
like he was breaking down over there, it's our people or people that look like us that resemble us, and the fiction or the lie comes in with the complexion thing, and that's really it, because it's really about the blood. Like it's really all about the blood. Like in all the movies they show you, like it's all about blood lineage. You know what I mean? That, and like that's what the genetics things is about, or tracing your ancestry. Like that's what the most important thing
Yeah,
is. That's the
we
really
mixed up, man. We mixed up,
Hey,
man. We've
not
been
really.
brought
We're
here
not
mixed
really
up.
mixed up. We're not really, because if you could find your information,
No,
I'm
y'all
just saying. You
from
said
Africa not mixed up. Y'all from Africa ain't mixed up. The ones here, Americans, they mixed.
we're
We are
not really
mixed.
mixed though. Like
We
there's really
mix up.
no set. We can't
Yes,
we
we
can't
are.
really be
I'm
mixed.
mixed.
Okay, that's you. That
I'm
okay.
mixed.
Everybody got their own. Everybody has their own situation, right? Like both my
Man, let
parents
me say
are.
something. We
In the
if
United
we are
States, yeah,
mixed,
we
hey,
you
mixed.
find it in your lineage. You highlight
There
it.
you
Most
go.
people are mixed European, if any other
Yeah,
people
yeah.
on this planet. But yeah,
hey,
man,
bro.
we just yeah.
Hey,
Go ahead.
If
there's a
you want,
documentary,
if
man.
you
There's a documentary I want y'all to look it up when you get a chance up on YouTube. And it's called Prominent Americans You Assume Were White. Prominent Americans You Assume Were White. I want you to take the time and then, look at it. Maybe one day, if it's okay, brother, we can come back and discuss, some of the things that were put off up in there. But let me tell you, these people, they are so manipulative. Everything that they've done has been, been
yes,
manipulative situation.
yes,
Right.
controlling.
Prime example. I'm gonna show you something. A prime example of something that they did that we never paid attention to. One of the things that they did here in America was this started back in the early 60s, I want to say, when the first bypass highway was. It started off in Bronx. The first one was in Bronx, New York. was in the Bronx, New York, where I bypassed the Bronx, and then it went around, so traffic would not go through the Bronx anymore. It would go around the Bronx. And what happened was, the black white flight took place where they would start moving businesses out of the Bronx area and move it out into another area where blacks didn't have any access to. It went across the country. If you go back and look throughout history, everywhere you see a bypass highway, it bypasses prominent black communities. That was deliberate.
And also those highways,
that was
those highways also
What's
destroyed.
even deeper about that whole situation is that a lot of these projects are funded by developers banks, and these developer banks get funded by a lot of these churches, and a lot of these churches are in your urban neighborhood that uses these banks. You see what I'm saying? So it's even deeper than that. But hold on, I'm gonna let y'all finish build. I got a caller. Let me get to this caller right quick, and we can continue this conversation. Caller 616 area code. State your name. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Grand Rapids. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, brother.
Oh yeah. I had I want to give props to Map and Chief. I'm telling you some. Hold on. Yeah. I was getting some feedback real quick, man. Now can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. It's all clear on my side.
Yeah, man. I like that build. One thing I'm happy to say. Yeah. I want to give you props for that build yesterday.
If you're listening to the program in on another device, you might want to turn it off or turn it down. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, can you hear me?
You hear me? Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I had the YouTube on at the same time.
Yeah, you gotta turn it off. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, that build, man, that y'all was doing this morning, man. I messed around. It wasn't boring, but I was just up so long, man, that I fell asleep, woke up, y'all was still building, you and Chief. And I think it was 8-1 or somebody like that.
Oh
man.
no,
Man,
that's on Chief Channel, and that's probably a premiere video. So it's probably from an older video from the past that he was probably just sharing that it was probably private that he made public now. So yeah, that's probably an old build.
So premiere means like throwback.
Yes, a throwback. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but this is what I wanted to ask. This is what I wanted to ask you. Okay, on my dad's, because I wanted some guides on this. On my dad's side, my grandpa and grandma, they Mississippi, right? And they went through that migration to where they came to Michigan. Now, my mom's side, my granddad.
Around what year did your grandma and grandpa from Mississippi migrate to the Michigan area? Around what year was that?
I'm gonna say 60s, 70s, because these the type of Mississippi people that they believe. See, he gave me a couple of hints talking about. He showed me a picture of my great grandma that had all the Indian shit. But I, when he was born, because my dad, he's 69, and so I'm saying 60, 70. And my mom, her dad is Texas, and my grandma was California, because I was born in Sacramento, California, right?
Okay.
And all her sisters, and I'm trying to figure out what's like the best way to like see if you got some land or see your genealogy. Because remember, when it came to the South, a lot of people migrated to Michigan because that's where the jobs were. You know what I mean? Compared to the South.
Yeah, a lot of people
migrated there.
Yeah, a lot of people came from the south, went to the north for jobs at the new industrial factory times that was going on. It is a lot of movement between the California and Texas region too. That's very common as well. Uh, the best thing I say is just to keep doing your genealogy. Uh, and I'm not really familiar on how you would know your people's got land. I'm not really sure. I'm not even an expert on genealogy, but you talking about like some type of land patent, some type of land deeds, something like that.
Yeah, well, not only land pact, but number two, what tribes was really there? I'm talking about like, okay, I can understand the Mississippi thing because my dad showed me the picture one day when we was over my grandma's house after she died. But it was my granddad's mama. But what I'm trying to say is when it comes to not only the land patent but like the culture of what people was doing. I'm talking about Mississippi, Texas, and California. Like,
oh, you want to know what you want to know what they was doing at what time frame, like what time period, like
whenever, man, before the white people start doing this illusion.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got a book that's gonna go into that. I got two books for you. I got Ancient Mississippi and Monuments of Mississippi History. I'm gonna be able to drop that in.
You said Ancient Mississippi
and Ancient Monuments of Mississippi. That's the name of the book. It's a good book. So make sure you write that down. I'm gonna give you another one as well. I'm gonna give you the American Indian Encyclopedia because it highlights the Mississippian area, Mound City, Alabama area, and highlight a lot of the cultural contributions that they gave as well. And that's just two books that you can get into. There's organic history there. But I also advise you to talk to your ancestors, your great aunties, your uncles, your grandparents that's still around today, if you have any still around.
Man, I got some aunties, but see, it's kind of like this is what I think. When I look at it, if you look at it culturally, the people that migrated from the south to the north, it seemed like they left all the history behind because that's where the mind frame came. As long as I put a roof over your head, some food on the table, some clothes on your back, and some shoes on your feet, I did my job. So they don't really, they'll give you little hints here and there, but they don't really go into the real, the real culture.
Right.
You know
You might have to try to tap into some of the family that's still down there in the Texas region, maybe. You feel me? Or in the Mississippi region.
But I think a lot of people from Texas, because my granddad, he died in like 2011 or something like that. These old cats, man.
Right. And I know it's crazy because it's a couple elders in my family when I came into this information that just transition, and I got like all these questions. I know they got all this information. It's like, dang, why couldn't I came into this information 3 to 4 to 5 years earlier? You know what I'm saying? So you can just
in my teenage years,
or your early adult years, right? Yeah, man, that'd be crazy to have that conversation with the knowledge that we know now. But hey, like I said, I don't know, man.
Okay.
Listen. One thing that's pertinent is doing your genealogy. Once you track back, you're gonna start finding members. Then you want to start finding where these members is, what year it was. They might even own land and businesses. That's going to start giving you narratives and understanding of what your cultural aspect was at a certain time frame with documentation. You see what I'm saying? Or your own lineage.
Okay. Yeah, but what direction would you say do your genealogy like? Do you go in the libraries or do you go on the computer? Or?
Yeah, you can go down to where your the libraries usually got a genealogy program there that a person there to help you with genealogy. If not, you can always go to your vital statistics area in your local county area from where your ancestors was or lived at. they gonna probably have some records of them as well. Land deeds, marriage certificates, things of that nature that you can start doing further research on. Your vital statistics.
Okay. Now. Do you got anything on? Because I was born in California, but I've been up here since in Michigan since like '93. Do you got anything on California that you want spoke on, or you got some knowledge on?
Yeah, I done did a couple of history of California. I actually showed you I showed an ancient map. Well, not an ancient map, a historical map of California before they built the San Andreas fault line right there, which is pretty significant. It shows it depicts California as an island. Let me put that on the screen for people that is viewing. That you ain't able to look at it because you're on the phone, but I just want to pull that up for the people that's viewing. There is illustrations of a map showing California as an island, which I thought is very, very interesting, especially when you get to some of the history of the Pacific Islands and their contributions to the America. So, yeah, man.
And they say, well, I don't know what white folks lying about it, but they say that it contributes to 60% of the produce that goes across America.
I could agree. I could agree with that. I could agree with that.
Man, I moved in my when my great grandma died. When we was living in California, my great grandma died, and she gave us her house. Nigga, it was a full plum tree and a weed garden growing in the backyard. I'm talking about growing like in the backyard real quick. So yeah, man. It's but I know you gotta get some other people on, man. But
yeah, man, I enjoy having this conversation with you, brother. Like I said, anytime, hit me up if you need any help with your genealogy. Like I said, I can point you in the
one thing I do need. You remember when you posted that thing where that dude from the tribe he was talking about like the crops and animals that the Americans brought to Africa.
Yeah.
I wish you could post that again, man, because I got a little debate, man.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do a bill specifically on that, on what came and went from the Americas historically all the way up to modern time. So yeah, I'm gonna drop a lot of those sources then. So yeah, I appreciate you for
But is it 600 out of 640? 600 of the crops in Africa came from here.
Yeah, they're native or indigenous to the Americas, and you got to highlight the Americas, meaning from Canada down to Brazil and some of the conjoined islands. So what you're gonna do is I'm gonna give you another book that's gonna give you a log chart and graph of the organic species and the actual name of the plant and where it went to and where it is native to. That'll be another good source for you. And I'm also going to give you a couple more sources to go along with that food article source. We're going to give you at least three of them. So they, that's for their satisfaction. So, just tap in with me, email me and I'll shoot you them things over there to you, brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I appreciate you calling in, brother. Peace and blessings. Let's get some more call-ins, you guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Sorry about that. We got Sister Soul Main Radio on the platform. Shout out to Sister Soul Main Radio. What's up?
Bro. I'm just,
fix your mic,
just confused, brother, why they when you just showed the map, right? I got a feedback.
You good now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Oh, I was saying it's confusing when you show them the proof. You've been showing a lot of different proof. Chief Holiday, all the different people that come on the platform. They see things and they still are confused. But I don't see how these people here. Why doesn't everybody come from there? This, and that. Even the map we showed yesterday. If you want to, another map that shows specifically each area they're in, you could show that. It's like it's proven from way early back that we were in specific areas, and because they had to keep track of it. So if this proof is out there, why are people disbelieving the things that they see that's right in front of their eyes? Like that's confusing that you can believe something that these people will tell you in your mind and be indoctrinated to a lie or some fiction, literally a story that they've told you and constructed and made. I mean, it's like you're just following along the playbook, and you don't decide to close in and say, I'm going to make my own story and go with the truth. I don't know. It's just confusing to me why they don't get it. The concise dissonance, the cognitive dissonance, all these things that mess with their brains. People need to really focus more on concentrating on what they feel a lot of times. People so disconnected, I think they don't even go with what they feel. They could be getting information from their ancestors, the coding that opens up inside them because they're not tuned into themselves. They're not going to even recognize that. This stuff is important, y'all. I just think it's important that y'all need to focus more on getting the information and checking it out, even if you don't agree with it. If you check out the stuff, really look at it or research what somebody's providing for you, you can then see it, and then you'll get a more in-depth information, and that knowledge then can kind of enlighten you more to see more. So you really just got to open yourself up more. You can't be closed into just believing everything you've been taught and indoctrinated with and the lies that people tell you.
Wow, that's a big fact. You want me to show you? Let me. My bad. So many. I didn't see you screen sharing right here. Let me pull your map up.
Hey, can I speak on that, brother?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, all right. To the best of my knowledge, one of the things that I find is that people are afraid of change. Whether they're afraid, afraid of change, they're afraid of truth. And by that I mean that they've been so, how can I say it? They've been so brainwashed that they're afraid to learn the knowledge. It's something different from what they've been told. Now, if you show them this and they start to accept it, then what's going to happen? Then they're going to start questioning more and more, and they are afraid of that. If we look at what our government is doing today, where they're setting up there, creating this thing, critical race theory type thing, but in actuality, what they're trying to do is stop our youth from learning what history is really about, because the history as we know it is all false history that's been taught in school. So I don't be, one of the things that I don't even say anything about is that, when they set up and say, let's take this out of the history class and stuff like that. Okay, take it out. But my child is still going to learn that. Any child that I come in contact is still going to learn the truth about history. They're going to learn the actual truth. See, speaking of California, I'm going to show you a prime example of something. It's the city of San Francisco. Do you know what the city of San Francisco is built up on? The city of San Francisco is actually built up on ships. Built up on ships. The ships where personnel were coming from different countries, they were coming in and they were leaving their ships there to go into California for the gold rush. The whole city of California, the whole city of San Francisco sets up on ships. You can go and research this and find it out for yourself. That's it, bro.
Peace. I just wanted to add on to like to what the last caller was speaking about. In my own journey, I have found information about my ancestors from marriage certificates, naturalization papers. I have family from the Caribbean, as well as Georgia, Florida, and the city hall have information for people. Like you have death certificates, you have funeral people attend funerals, christenings. If your family and or somebody is lucky enough to have that information, sometimes it just takes to do a little bit of research. We all have parents, and indeed we have grandparents and great grandparents, that we all come from. So all it takes is just a little bit of research and a little bit of um, self respect, self love, and just taking some time and just doing the hard work that it takes. And some people don't want the new information that's coming in because it's different and it's hard to change. Like the sister was saying, they don't really want to go like in the direction of what's flowing now. They rather sit, and do what's comfortable, and what's comfortable is good for them. And as they say, ignorance is bliss. But excuse me, however, we all have to not get on the same page, but at least take one step, you know, towards this truth. Teach the
Uh,
children, like the brother was saying, and that's the most important thing. We gotta raise the youth and move with a better energy, regardless of what's happening with the corona and all of the mind control antics that they have. And like Joe Biden just put 30 million into crack pipes or whatever, put to put something so people don't burn their lips on a crack pipe. And so people not even seeing that for what it is, and like the distraction with the war in Russia and the Ukraine. And Russia got billions of minerals, gold, silver, diamonds, plenty of bread, plenty of money. So what is the war even about for that little piece of land in Ukraine? I don't even realize what the war is about, but it's another distraction as well. It's just another distraction. So I yield the floor.
I don't understand how we could trace back to Africa when they don't keep records.
Well, the platform, is
Yes, we have.
about
So you
us
guys can
not being
see
even from Africa. That's the one
face
thing we're
like you
not from.
cannot
Go ahead.
deny. Like a lot of times,
So if that's the case, I don't know where I'm
no, you
from.
good.
I don't
You
know
from
where my
America,
lineage
my
come
brother.
from.
You from America. You from Brooklyn, as you said. And
I'm from Brooklyn, America,
right,
and I would like to have known who my great 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 grandfather was or my great great grandmother.
you can look up
I don't
the
know. I don't know none of that.
vital
I mean,
statistics.
I could see going back uh, four greats.
Right.
I don't think I would ever know my fourth great great grandparents were, or my maybe my third. I might, you know, could find out that, and I'm not sure if I could find that out, but
Everybody had you. It's somewhere. It's
you know,
somewhere.
the
It's
record,
somewhere,
the
bro.
documents have the, the documents been stopped since what 18 something.
Not really. Not at all. Like the brother said, you got the census records. You got vital statistics. The the government, whatever,
Like
has
for instance,
things
my
in.
last name is Lucky, right? My
Okay.
la-
But again, look,
my
look,
last
look,
name
look,
is
brother,
Lucky,
look.
right?
You got like your
Uh-huh.
people may have had property. Your people have owned things. They've signed contracts. They've written. They've left proof of their existence on this earth somewhere at some
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So
but names change. Names change. Like I'm Lucky now. My father last name they was first known as Brown. So I'm like, we went from Brown to Lucky. Now I know that. So when I went and I seen the slaves building
so where's your father
America,
from though? Where's your father from?
South Carolina, when I seen the slaves, the record of slaves that they had building the White House,
All right, all right, all right. Now look,
I
look.
seen a
This is
couple
very
of
key.
Browns on there.
All right, now
And
look. This is
and
this.
I
Hold on,
said,
hold on,
could
hold on,
that
real
be my
quick, brother.
family that
Real
was here
quick,
building that was
real
slavery?
quick. There's really no proof for who even built that down there, that edifice down there, that structure down. There's really no.
No, they have.
You know, they say slaves
Where
built
you
it. They
from,
said it
brother?
burnt
Where you
down.
from?
I'm from New York. I'm from
Where are
Harlem.
you from,
I'm
brother?
from Harlem.
Why you not you from New York? But
I'm from Harlem.
what's your family lineage?
I
What is your
just I
heritage,
just
your
said it.
culture?
Georgia, Florida, parts of the Caribbean, and I'm lucky enough.
What's your nationality?
I'm American. My family is from, like I said, down south, the
What's your
Caribbean.
nationality?
American. As far as I'm concerned, I'm American.
You're not saying what's your what skin color are you?
Brown skin, right? Brown skin.
So you black.
So-called black. Nobody's black. No one is black, bro. Nobody's black. That's what this whole platform is about. Indeed, you calling in. You said you from New York. I don't
You
know
can't
how.
ask. You can't
You don't
ask him.
even. I don't even know how you never heard of the Nation of
Where your
Islam,
parents come
the
from?
5%.
Where your
I just
parents
said
come
all of that.
from?
I just said all of that. So
You ain't
You've
ask
never
him what
heard of.
skin color he is. He tell you brown, and then you gonna say black. Like, no, he said
You don't got no
brown.
knowledge of yourself. You don't got no knowledge. You never been
Color
to
don't
to,
color,
to
brother.
a bill. You
That's
never been
see,
to a
that's people that
parliament.
don't know
And
themselves. That's people that don't know themselves. You know, they tap dance all around what they really are. You know,
but we're
I
not acknowledging ourselves as being black. Like,
I
excuse
got
me,
a
I'm not.
lineage.
I'm
You know
not
what? My lineage,
acknowledging myself
my
as
lineage
being
is
black.
mixed. My lineage is mixed. I'm not afraid to say
Right.
that. I don't know what's in my blood.
What do you
How could
mean
you
mixed? What do you mean
possibly
by
know?
mixed though? What do you mean
How
by
could you
mixed?
possibly know what's all in what's in your blood?
I've I've seen my mother. I've seen my father. I've seen my grandmother. I've seen my
But how
grandfather.
old are you?
I
How
see.
old are you? 200 years old?
What do you mean? These people
How
have been
old are you? I'm
alive in
saying.
my.
But you have a
I'm.
lineage. It goes way back. It goes
We
way
all do,
back.
my brother. We all do. That's what I'm saying too. We all do.
All
Somewhere
right.
and
So
some
it's
point.
frustrating. What I'm saying is frustrating not to know your great grandparents or
You could
your
find
third
yours,
grade or your
brother. That's
second
what
grade.
you could
I
find
say,
yours.
I
it's
know my
easier to
six
say
time
go
great
look in the books,
grandparents.
You got to
go
go to
look at
South
shit that was
Carolina. You
destroyed,
got to go to South Carolina.
go look at
You got to
shit
go
that
to
was
South
destroyed
Carolina.
and left behind and disintegrated. It's easier to say that. No, but
That may
we
be in
need
your
some
mind. What proof?
tangibles. We need some
Okay.
Hey,
tangibles. So
Mr. Lucky, Mr. Lucky, you got to do your research, bro. You got to do your genealogy. I mean, you like you said, it's hard because you don't know your grandparents, but hey, you got to talk to somebody that might have a clue who they are. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell people the well, motherfuckers going back knowing they six-time great grandparents, four-time great grandparents on both sides of the family. All 16 of them, 36 of them. You feel what I'm saying? 32 of them, excuse me. You feel what
Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying?
that's a fact.
At the end of the day, we gotta start taking our pertinent information, bro. You can't you want to know who you are. You gotta stop allowing anybody to teach you to be such as an elder who you are. You can look at yourself and tell that you ain't black. You ain't your skin ain't black. You ain't never even physically, literally seen a black person ever in your life. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to the brother Lucky Unit, man. He here just trying to get the information, man. But that's why we gotta help him. You feel what I'm saying? We got other elders in this community that probably had the same situation that now understand who they are as Aboriginal brothers and sisters. You see what I'm saying? So maybe we can get an elder on here to come chop it up with him. Shout out to Lucky. Go ahead, you got the flow, Lucky.
I, tr- I I tried to explain to the brother, I did a little bit of as much as I could find out, and I'm not going. I can't go back, but so far, you know, Lucky Brown. My last name is Lucky, but before then it was Browns. So I traced back and I seen a couple of names. Henry. Henry's in my family name too. Henry Brown and Black. And I seen a couple of them on a list. They had a list of people that was building buildings, including the White House. They was doing a lot of field work, a lot of construction, and that's what I was trying to explain to him. And I felt like maybe, well, one of them is related to me because, like I said, my uncle name is John Henry Lucky, you know. And one time they changed their name to Brown, then back to Lucky again. You know what I'm saying? So that's as far as I could go. Is when slavery started in America. That's as far as I could go back, man. As far as tracing all the way back to Africa and different places or Jamaica or wherever, I can't do that. I probably can. There's some sources out there that probably could help me, but I have to, like you said, you're right. I have to go back and see if I could find that group of people that could really, do. I mean, they could make it do a DNA test or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. So that's all I'm trying to tell the brother.
Pardon me, brother. You'll find it, my brother. And I got faith that you'll find it. I ain't mean no harm. I ain't mean no, no transgression against you. And I got faith that you'll find it because I'm only, lucky enough to, no pun intended, to know, and have, you know, the history been given to me, So, and everybody's situation is different. But I definitely pray that you find some information that'll lead you down the right path. And this could be the beginning of it today, right here. So
Absolutely. Shout out to
Yeah,
brother
I was a little
Lucky.
upset, but I'm not mad or nothing like that.
no, of
Nah,
course,
shout
my brother. Of course.
nah,
Because
and that's why you
a lot of people in the same boat.
a
They don't
lot
know
of
who their
a
ancestors
lot of
were.
us was like that. That's right. You know what I mean? When you
Yeah,
waking up and somebody
still like that.
physically wake you up, you could get angry. I understand. You know what I'm saying? So hey, that's what it's about. Shout out to the brother Lucky. We about to get ready to wrap the show up. I appreciate everybody being. We hit a little bit over 2 hours on this live. I appreciate y'all for coming on. Shout out to Chief Arifa. Shout out to Sister Soul Man Radio. Shout out to Lucky. Shout out to everybody else that popped on. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Drop them fire emojis in the chat. Can we get them likes up? Let's try to get 250 likes before we leave out of here, y'all. Go thumb up the video. Thumb up the video. All right, y'all. We about to get ready to get out of here. Shout out to all the American Aborigines in the chat, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. This was a good show. I'll probably go live later on to see who wants some smoke tonight. We're gonna do a free smoke. We're gonna do a free smoke deal maybe later on tonight. Make sure y'all tune in to that. Make sure y'all hit the like button on the way out. Hit the subscribe button if you ain't subscribed. And share the live stream. Share the live stream. Peace and blessings to everybody. Make y'all be safe on your daily commute. And we out of here.
Appreciate you.
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. Alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with perky, now that hair on them is veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the eyes wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost, see, I glossed too, we shit ain't been the same.